So, what kind of player are you? The reason we ask is because you can actually enjoy D&D more by knowing what type of player you are, as well as what type of player the people around you are. Especially if you're a DM. If you're a DM, pay attention to this one. I'm the Bard, jack of all trades and thief of hearts. I'll try anything once, but my specialties are drinks, D&D, and devilish charm. Welcome to Bard & Company. What players also would benefit from knowing. I'm grateful to my subscribers. Thanks, guys. If you guys have any recommendations or questions, leave them below in the comments. But aside from all that jibber jabber, there's 7 types of players. It's not an exhaustive list, but these are the most common 7. We're going to get into those in a second, but first, let me tell you through a story why you want to know what kind of player you are. A really good example is rewards. You can't be given something that you're not communicating you need. I've seen a lot of times that GMs will just be like, oh, you did the thing. You get back to town and you find a pile of 1,000 gold. Or you loot the cave and there's 1,200 gold in the back of it. And it's like, okay, cool. Yay, money. That makes people happy, right? No, it doesn't. So let's pretend you've got adventurers over here and it's like, oh, you find 1,200 loot, or 1,200 gold pieces, you can split it amongst you. Big deal, bunch of money, not exciting. Or, you're like, okay, you find 6 different things in the back. You find 5 different gemstones and 1 sword which has a glint to it. The wizard notices it's got runes on it which say Firebrand. As the warrior's like, oh, cool, he picks it up and it starts on fire, thus the name of Firebrand. Anytime it's wielded by someone true of heart, it lights a blaze to smite his enemies. That's like, which is cooler? Gold chunks or 5 colored gems in a Firebrand? They're worth the same amount of money. But one's actually creating emotion. But that works if you know that they want that kind of reward. If they're actually looking for something else, figure it out. I've had some people where literally after a dungeon, this one guy was with the party. They took all the money and all the loot and all the random weapons and sold them. But he wanted that goblin hat. He literally found a hat that a goblin was wearing that was tattered and crappy, and he put it on his head and he didn't want any of the gold. He had this rugged, falling apart piece of crap hat. Cool. All of my planning was out the frickin' window, because he just wanted a tattered rag for his skull. But, yeah, that made him happy, so whatever works, right? But the easiest way for you to figure out what kind of player you are is to explain your perfect game, or what your favorite medias are. So for me, my perfect game is a thief-heavy game. Like, if there was a thieves guild that I got to play in, and there was all kinds of intrigue, and we had to do like subterfuge missions and protection rackets and going through the slums with very little money to our name where we struggled for food and like had actual interactions with people more than just slaying monsters and rolling dice. That would be my jam. I would love that. But some people are out there and they just want to throw dice and murder stuff, or do all the cool epic hero stuff, or save the world from battling gods. Very different, but you gotta know how to reward them, or how to ask your GM or let them know what you actually want. So, the 7 types of players. You've got the die roller, the guy who likes epic anime stuff and just rolling lots of dice. I actually know some people, they just want to do things with a lot of power and roll dice. Awesome guy, always emphatic, gotta love him. There's the attendee, which they just want to be there. They want to be amongst friends and just chill out and be at game. They don't care anything about what happens. They just want to be amongst friends and be in this fantasy world and just chill. There's the deep immersion role player. They, like me, like to actually get into character, and they like to express themselves, get into acting, and be very verbose, and like get into the psyche of the character and practice their acting skills. There's also the mystery solvers, which they like to find the mystery of the plot or the campaign, and they like to always be looking for the answers and hidden questions and try to understand things, whether it's plot, the puzzles, or just trying to figure out how magic works or what they can do. I would put them all in that category. There's the people who like to explore, explorers. They want to understand the world and they want to travel and see new things. They want to go to new settings all the time, or at the very least new shopkeepers and new interactions. They kind of like the novel stuff, which is perfectly valid. There's the people who want to learn about themselves or explore themselves, and I do fall into that category sometimes. You can be a primary of one type and then sub of other types because we're humans, we have multifacets. I do try to intentionally learn from my role-playing, so I will pick characters that help me understand different facets of myself, or if I'm reading a book on charisma, I will try to play a paladin who's using those techniques specifically to exercise my skills. Or if I'm doing something like woodwork, I'll play a character that does woodworking and I'll talk about said thing. Last time there was woodwork here, this time there's not. I'm still motioning to the same spot. You don't care. But, and the last group is those who want to learn about others. Actually, I've done this myself kind of often. I will play a character, for example, I'll play female characters, and it's because I have no way of knowing what that world is like. So if I play characters that are like fish people, or this or that, or come from different lands, or from rich families or poor families, or whatever, you can explore different facets and understand different walks of life. It helps with your empathy and like understanding the world. And a lot of people do that. They'll be like, oh, I want to be a wizard. There's no wizardry in real life, so they would technically fall into that category. I really like those. I have a lot of respect for them because they're trying to understand other people, and I always appreciate learning and people trying to forward themselves. But back to the subject. Those are the 7 types. This is the best place to learn in a safe space. So if you do want to explore yourself, others, learn new things, or try something different, this is a great place to, because D&D is supposed to be amongst friends who won't judge you much. They'll give you shit, but they won't judge you. And it's like, try something different if you've been playing for a while, and then if you're new, just do whatever comes naturally. Something that people worry about is, what if they're a different type of player than all the others? What if all your players are different types and they need different rewards? What if your needs aren't being met because you're one type and everybody else is another? This all comes down to, you need to communicate with your GM, aka you need to talk to your friends. It's not a difficult subject. It's scary for some people, but you'll figure it out. If you have any questions or comments, I can easily help with that. People in the comments, if you're not nice, I'm going to ban you. I'm going to straight out. This is a positive community. But critiques are fine. Just be constructive. Back on point. Use us to be a reference if you need help figuring something out. We're fine helping. I had a game once where, I've had many games actually, where I was not happy because I was new and I didn't know how to ask for what I needed. Being extremely natural into the deep immersion type, when I end up with people who don't care and this is a fun game, and almost all of them are the huge anime exploders who want to like roll shit tons of dice and do cool novel shit all the time, I don't work well because I want to actually do acting. And if the GM or the DM or whatever you want to call the dungeon master or game master, if they're not running a game that has acting or has characters that are not cardboard cutouts, then it's going to be hard to act and roleplay. So you have to either find a new GM or talk to them and see what they can do for you. A lot of times you also need to instigate the changes by being like, hey, can I roleplay with the baker? Or, good day, shopkeep. How's the weather today? And just ask things that kind of instigate what you need. But I can find other examples. I'm not going to go through all 7 and examples of them here. But ask me in the comments, or even better, reach me on my Discord. I'll put a link in the thingy below. the good old thingy. You can easily find me in the comments. You can easily find me in Discord permanently. I'll be in that forever. This is the final episode of my first Players series. Hope you guys liked it. Once again, thanks to my subs and my Patreons. I'm going to link those if I haven't already. Oh, if you are sporting my merch, I appreciate it, as well as send pics to my Instagram. I'm actually going to put a link to that below. I'm working on being more active in that, but I'm rambling at this point, so don't stop adventuring. Like, keep doing something.